نه فقط باسن داشت خانم لاغره. بچه‌ها خوبید؟ من رضا ویپفور هستم. آقا امروز اومدیم با یه ویدیوی جدید دیگه ریاکت کردم به 8 تا از عجیب ترین ورزش های دنیا. نمیدونم چجوری قراره باشه، شاید بعضیشو دیده باشین قبلا تو یوتیوب، شاید هم ندیده باشین. امیدوارم که از این ویدیو خوشتون بیاد. اگه خوشتون اومد لایک و کامنت و سابسکرایب فراموش نشه.
Start at number 8 with one of the most bizarre contests in this entire list. The worm grunt contest. Worm grunting is
کرم پیدا میکنم از تو خاک. 6-7 سالم بود این کارو میکردم تو حیاتمون.
the technique of luring worms to the surface of the earth by vibrating them out of the ground. In the worm grunting competition in Wilston, United Kingdom, each part 9 square meter field in a large meadow, and they have to bring as many worms as possible up to the surface of the earth. Everyone uses their own technique here. Some hop in place, others play musical instruments and bang a shovel on the ground to create vibrations. Last year, the winners made it to first place with only 11 worms, but the most worms to reach the surface in 30 minutes without digging is over 500. At number 7, we've got the Extreme Ironing World Cup. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's competitive ironing, like ironing clothes, but it's extreme, right? So the ironing is not done in the laundry room. Places. At the Extreme Ironing World Championship, there are different categories in which the iron. For example, in the Rocky style category.
اینو باید به مامانایی نشون بدیم که
ما تو زندگیمون خیلی سختی میکشیدیم، اینجور بود اونجور بود، 5 صبح بلند میشدیم میکردیم.
این هنو واسه اون مامانان. ببین نگاه کن، بالای صخره وایساده اتو میکنه.
Ironing is to be done on a mountain or on a rock. You can either iron on the top of the mountain or you can even set up your ironing board on a wall. In the category Forest style, the contestants iron on branches and in treetops. Water style, they iron both on the surface of the water and underwater. The newest category of the competition is air style, where participants board small planes with motorized parachutes or the combination of base jumping and ironing. You may be wondering who would want to take part in such a competition. Maybe overly aggressive moms with nothing to lose.
یه سوال، کی میبازه و کی میبره؟ برای من سوال.
I think people are just really bored, man. Anything to
دقیقا راست می، مردم واقعا دیگه رد
feel
دادن.
alive.
خیلی گشتم این جمله رو پیدا کنم چیز بدی نگم.
Let's move on to number 6. And a competition that brings the pain. The Death Diving World Championship. When jumping off the diving board, one normally avoids the dreaded belly back
حاجون پوچی با وسط شکم اومد.
There's a competition dedicated to these very fine art forms. It's not about agility, it's not about grace, and it's not about limiting your splash or any kind of technique. It is all about the clap of the stomach on the water. Before jumping, participants usually take a running start and they toss their helpless bodies into the water with a reckless abandon. The pros, however, utilize a very specific trick. They fall belly down, but just before they hit the surface, they put their arms together and form a kind of ball to diffuse the impact. How the idea for the Extreme Jumping World Championship came about.
باز هم درد داره، اینو جدی دارم بهتون میگم. من شنا خیلی دوست داشتم موقعی که بچه بودم و اونقدر توپل نبودم شنا میرفتم. به چند سالی از شنا نمیرفتم، 6-7 سال میشه. اون موقع یادمه یکی از دوستام که غریق نجات بود به من میگفت رضا اگه تو موقع شیرجه از جای بلند آبو نشکافی، آب تو رو میشکافه. قشنگ خیلی درد داره. من یه بار پریدم برای تست، همین سکه‌های 3 متری بود، حالا زیادم بلند نبودش، توی 3 متری 4 متری هم بود شیرجه زدم. اینجوری رفتم و من قشنگ قرمز شده بودم، یعنی احساس میکردی یکی گرفته منو زده. قرمز شده بود سینه‌ام، صورتم حتی.
Was explained by the Norwegian world champion Truls Torp. It's just a typical Norwegian thing. We're just absolutely crazy. At number 5, we've got a competition that's a bit of a head scratcher, to be honest. I don't know what's going on here. Every year, people from all over the world gather at Coppers Hill in Gloucester, United Kingdom.
همش هم چرا تو یونایتد کینگدوم، همش چرا تو انگلیس، چرا این ورزشا چرت و پرت داره.
For the Coppers Hill rolling race. Everyone gets a 4-kilogram slice of the very popular Gloucester cheese and they throw it down the hill. Then they all throw themselves down the hill after the cheese.
What the
It can get pretty wild. The
چرا؟
goal is to be the first to reach the bottom of the very steep hill. Whoever manages to do this gets to keep the cheese. All I'm saying is that this cheese must be unreal. People are throwing themselves off a cliff for this grassy, dirty cheese. Let's stay in England for number 4.
دوباره
In
انگلند.
Marchwood, one of the wildest eating contests in the world takes place every year, a nettle eating contest. Each participant gets a big bundle of nettle bushes.
یه سوال برام
Well, it
پیش
takes
اومد.
place-
اینا چرا اینجوری پارک کردن؟ عادیه یا من
Year, a nettle eating contest.
Okay.
Each participant gets a big bundle of nettle bushes, and then they have to eat as many leaves as possible. To drink, the participants get a glass of beer, which helps to get rid of the foul.
این باید توش همسایه ما باشه. یه همسایه ما هست، خانم البته میاد پیش مثلا مامانم اینا، مثل بز سبزی میخوره. قشنگ مثل بز. اصلا با چی من چجوری اونجوری سبزی میخورید اونقدر حالتون بد نمیشه؟ خب سبزی هم اندازه داره دیگه. این قشنگ باید توی شرکت
are
کنه.
said to taste like spinach and are a rich source of vitamins, but there is an obvious problem in that the nettle leaves are poisonous.
فکر نکنم دیگه اجازه بدم شرکت کنم همسایه‌مون.
They've been known to cause swelling the lips as well as black tongues when consumed raw, so the participants utilize some strategy here. They fold the leaves before they put them in their mouths so the prickly hairs on the surface do not come into contact with their tongues. This is just another example of English people acting up. I don't know why they're being like this.
منم نمیدونم.
They also have a shin kicking contest, a contest that involves weird faces and hoops, and a pudding throwing contest, but it's British pudding, so it's more like a thick dough dish. Someone go find English people a hobby or something. Give them something to do.
این باحاله
They can't go on like this. Number 3 features another curious competition held regularly in Castrillo de Murcia, Spain. It's part of the El Colacho celebration, an old festival that's been held in the Spanish town for over 400 years. It's all about the Colacho, or the devil, who's represented at the festival by a selected man in disguise. He runs after people with a whip and a stick, and the highlight of the event
من میخوام این نقش یارو رو بازی کنم مردمو بزنم. خیلی حال میده.
یعنی وای به حالت اگر گیرم بیافتی.
So-called baby jumping. To become the Colacho and have the privilege of running through the city in a devil costume, you have to show that you are the best long jumper in town. Because for baby jumping, you actually have to jump over real babies. Newborns between 0 and 12 months of age are placed on a mattress in the middle of the street, and the Colacho jumps over them.
حالا 1% اون بیفته رو بچه‌ها چی؟
The more babies he's able to clear, the better. I definitely have a lot of questions about this one, like why babies?
دقیقاً چرا
And
بچه؟
who would volunteer their child for this? I am calling DHR on the entire country of Spain. At number 2, we're heading to Mother Russia. In Krasnoyarsk, Siberia, the so-called slap contest takes place every year. Two men face each
این خیلی بده. من اینو دیدم. ببین من یه دونه بود، یعنی نمیدونم حالا این یارو بود یا ولی شبیه این بود، کچل بود و ریش داشت انقدر. این دستشو اینجوری میگرفت، اینجوری میزد، اصلا طرف جمجمش یه بار میومد اینجا برمیگشت تو مغزش.
and slap each other in the face as hard as they can. The first man to fall over or voluntarily leave the podium loses. Some athletes
این بود نه کچل نبود، همین بود. این خیلی بد میزنه.
Siberian Vasily Kamatsky have seen their opponents go down after one
ببین
slap.
دیگه زد یه دونش
If you look
ناکات
at the
شد.
muscle definition and the arms of some of these dudes, it becomes very clear
آخه تو با لگدم بزنی تو صورت اون هیچی نمیشه با اون قیافت.
that anyone who decides to do this is signing up for a concussion from Vlad here. YouTuber Logan Paul recently expressed interest in the competition, but when he saw his competitor, he explained that he no longer wanted to compete because he was afraid of serious injuries. The prize money ain't worth the pain either, as the winner only gets like $500.
اون همه کشیده میخورن $500.
Only men are allowed to take part in the competition, but recently there's also been a bagpipe contest
این ورزش خوراک منه.
For women only. The Russian Yashikin Cup involves two women slapping each other on the ass. Glorious. Oh, you wanted to see it? You want to see the rest of this clip?
Yeah.
No.
Bitch!
I'm calling the horny police. The aim is to make the opponent fall over or take at least one step forward. Compared to the men's competition, however, the women's competition is relatively harmless. So far, there have been no knocked out opponents, no major injuries, and most of the participants just bust out a sly little grin upon being spanked publicly. Last but not least, number one, the wife carrying competition.
Wife carrying.
This one's pretty much self-explanatory. The goal is to carry your own wife as far as possible. Participating men take their wives on their backs upside down. I guess this is more efficient for some reason. On the way to the finish line, there are various obstacles like ponds,
یا خدا لباس سیاه رو نگاه کن.
mud puddles, and wooden
این بنده
planks.
خدا داره
Even though the men do most of
پدرش
the
در
work here,
میونه
the
کاری
women also
میکنه.
have to endure a lot.
نه فقط باسن داشت خانم لاغره. چقدر واقعا جلب بودش. اشتا از مزخرفترین ورزش‌های دنیا. ولی من اون کلپه رو دوست داشتم، اون که به باسن میزدن. امیدوارم یک روزی منم بتونم شرکت کنم به عنوان داور حداقل و لذت ببرم از اون مسابقه جذاب. خب من امیدوارم خوشتون اومده باشه از این ویدیو بچه‌ها. اگه خوشتون اومده لایک و کامنت و سابسکرایب فراموش نکنید. مرسی از اینکه دیدید ویدیو رو. ما رو تا ویدیو بعدی فعلا.